In news from Jamaica, Parliament has finally approved the changes to the Dangerous Drugs Act, which allows for the decriminalisation of small quantities of marijuana. The passage of the act was opened for debate in the lower house on Tuesday by Minister of National Security Peter Bunting, who notes the changes to the original Dangerous Drugs Act, created in 1948, have been attempted for 38 years. The first effort was in 1977. Minister Bunting says the passage of the amendments to the Dangerous Drugs Act will benefit local law enforcement and cited international examples.
A regime for legal production and distribution of ganja eliminates the monopoly that organized criminals now have in this area, and consequently will reduce funding for their criminal enterprise. Recent media and law enforcement reports suggest that since the regulated regimes for medicinal and recreational marijuana have come into effect in some U.S. states, the price for Mexican marijuana has dropped by more than 50%, making it uneconomical for many of the Mexican drug cartels to continue exporting to the United States. Just as the end of Prohibition drove gangsters out of the alcohol market, drug gangs will be driven out of a decriminalized marijuana market.
The minister says the changes also allow for more effective deployment of law enforcement resources.
In 2014, with our policy direction already clear, the JCF arrested 5,300 fewer persons for minor offenses, primarily possession of small quantities of ganja, than they did in 2013.
Minister Bunting adds that a fourth benefit to the Dangerous Drugs Act will be the removal of a source of friction between the police and communities. He reasons that because the police will not arrest persons for smoking a spliff, community members will no longer view the police as harassing or oppressing persons who smoke the drug. In the meantime, opposition spokesman on Justice Delroy Chuck expressed concern that the act creates a problem for the security forces as it is difficult to police.
If under this act you can use marijuana if you're a member of the Rastafarian faith, or you can get a medical doctor to prescribe that the use of marijuana is therapeutic, or for that matter you can grow it up to 5 plants anywhere because it is for horticultural purposes. So, Mr. Speaker, on every sidewalk in Jamaica, you can see you will have five ganja plants. Nothing is wrong with having 5 ganja plants, and because that is what the act allows. And what is more, Mr. Speaker, what is more? If 5 of you live in the house, you can have 25 plants lining the sidewalk.
Mr. Chuck believes the non-provisions for those loopholes in the act make it harder to control.
How are you going to control the amount of ganja that is grown across the country? The truth is that there should be no reason to control it. There should be absolutely no reason to control it. But all that this bill is now doing is to make it legitimate for you to do it, which really should be the natural event. But I'm happy, Mr. Speaker, that in walking through the raindrops, at least this bill is allowing persons to grow marijuana.
He notes that there are great economic gains from the freeing up of marijuana laws and made a recommendation to the Ministry of Tourism.
We need some parlours in Negril, Montego Bay and Ocho areas where you can go inside and smoke a split. But you must come in with your medical prescription. Whether you get it from America, you can get a doctor here to say you need it. The point is that that sort of medical benefit or economic benefit is something that you can't ignore. Mr. Speaker, Colorado is doing it. Colorado is doing it, and I see